Hi, my name is Brandon Hamilton and I'm the co-owner of Bionic Fitness. Excuse my appearance, I'm super sweaty. I just did a workout. I had a little bit of a down or grumpy day, and I think that's normal. Everybody has that. But I find for myself, personally, exercise really helps to pull me out of that slump. So that's what I did. Got myself sweating, already feel a little bit better. And I wanted to take everybody through some tools that I've picked up over the years in terms of lifting yourself out of a slump, feeling better, setting yourself up for success. All right. So if you're having a down day yourself, this is your moment. This is for you. All right. Along the way, I'm going to get you to pause the video and I'll kind of guide you through some exercises. But here we go. The first one is gratitude. I like to always start with a list of things that you're grateful for, right? So what I want you to do is we're going to do 10 things that are really big kind of life things that you're grateful for, 10 kind of medium things that you're grateful for, and 10 kind of small or really detailed, subtle things that you're really grateful for. I think an array of all three is really important. So I want you to pause right now and take the time to write 30 things that you're grateful for on each level, right? Pause. Let's go. All right, now that you have written down your list of things that you're grateful for, hopefully that helps you to kind of already start looking up. The next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of exercise. I know lots of people have a hard time keeping up with exercise. They say an hour a day is great, or whatever recommendation each body kind of recommends. But even just 5 minutes, just to get your heart rate going kind of helps, right? So what we're gonna do is 5 minutes, you're gonna time a 5-minute timer, and I want you just to get your heart rate going. You can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can jump, you can do high knees, you can run around the block, you can do a little dance party, whatever you like, whatever feels good, but it's only gonna be 5 minutes worth, so nothing crazy. So you're gonna pause the video, set a timer for 5 minutes, and do that. So let's go, 3, 2, 1, pause. All right, now that you're feeling a little bit better, you got your heart rate flowing and things are kind of working a little bit better. We're gonna go back to that little journal that we started. And this time, instead of 30 things you're grateful for, we're going to write down 30 things that are amazing about you. Sometimes it's really hard for us to dig deep and appreciate ourselves. We're all really hard on ourselves and are usually our own worst enemies. So what I want you to do is write down 30 things that you're grateful for. Now, yes, I want you to reach all 30, okay? And pause. All right, now that you've done that, the next one seems really crazy. It's a little bit insane, but there's lots of science and research around it. And I'll tell you the idea of it first before I tell you what it is, because I'm gonna keep you hanging. It's really important to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? We come across a lot of conflict or bad feelings or things in life that aren't necessarily ideal. And the most important thing that we can do is just taper the way that we react to those things, right? So we want to try and control ourselves when things get rough and tough, and to keep calm and even keeled. This is really hard for people to do. So saying that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an environment that feels chaotic and crazy, and try and calm ourselves during it, right? So it is, drum roll, a cold shower. I want you to hop into that cold shower, and I want you to play your favorite song, something upbeat that makes you feel good and happy, and you're going to blast it in the bathroom while you turn the water down as cold as you can. Some people need time to kind of build up and do bits at a time. Honestly, just do what you can the first time around. But what we're doing is we're regulating our breathing, we're digging deep, and we're calming ourselves through this entire process, right? So we're gonna jump in that shower, about 3 minutes if you can. If it's 30 seconds or 10 seconds, that's cool to start, but this is a practice that some people will do every single day to try and learn how to control their negative emotions and reactions. That's really the base of it, right? So let's pause, and I want you to go and hit the shower. 3, 2, 1, pause. All right, the next one we're gonna do is a power pose. There's lots of research around instead of your emotions dictating the way you hold your body, because a lot of people kind of slump when they're feeling bad, if we do the opposite, if we start to have power poses, poses that you would do when you're feeling super successful or really excited, your brain starts to follow along and helps you to feel a little bit better, right? So for some people, a power pose can be hands on the hips, or hands up nice and high, standing up, a little like dab, whatever you want to do. But I want you to hold it for 2 minutes. We're gonna hold this. And this is kind of a tool that people use for success. Sometimes they'll use it before job interviews or big important meetings, things that they're feeling nervous about. Power pose can just kind of help your body naturally change your state of mind. I know it seems maybe a little bit silly to you, but I want you to try it. Just try it out. You can do this by yourself. Nobody's watching or judging. So let's pause. Again, set a timer for 2 minutes. We'll do a power pose. Ready? 3, 2, 1, pause. All right, the next one we're gonna do, this is kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here. I know a lot of people feel like meditation might be hokey pokey, or they don't believe in it, or it seems really like silly to them, but there's really a purpose to it, and I want to kind of explain to you why people do so much visualization and meditation. I mean, everybody has their own reasons, but the one big thing that I think is super important is so many people don't have long-term goals, or if they have long-term goals, they're really nervous and afraid of them, right? So visualizing what your successful life looks like in 10, 15, 20 years helps you to become more comfortable with it, to have a better relationship with success, right? If I don't own a home, but I want to own a home, and especially I live in Toronto and it's super expensive here to own, and I'm from Vancouver and it's also super expensive to own there too, right? So that's never really been in the forefront for me in the past. But what we want to do is instead of starting to plan that, feeling anxious, feeling scared, feeling nervous, feeling like it's not possible, the more that we get into that mindset, in 10 years I'm gonna own a home, what's that home gonna look like? And I just flesh out all the details of the home, whether it be real or not. We're just gonna try and make it as realistic as possible so that you have a better relationship with that. So when you go to approach that action item that sets you forward to achieving that goal, it's less scary, it's more comfortable. You get more excited about it rather than nervous, right? So saying that, I want you to reach into 10 years from now. In 10 years, what is your life going to look like, right? I want you to look at where you're going to be, who's around you. Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? Do you have a partner? Do you not have a partner? Do you have a home? Do you have a vehicle? What kinds of things do you love doing? What kinds of long-term goals have you had in the past that you want to put forward? And I want you just to like take 10 minutes. If you have 10 minutes, just do it for as long as you can. But I really want you to sit with it, think about it, and just visualize as much as you can. The more frequently that we can visualize these things, the more comfortable we come with them, the easier it is to approach those. So let's hit pause, and I want you to take 10 minutes and just really flesh out as many details as you're thinking about all of the things that you want in your future, and think about the small details: colors, smells, tastes, sounds, relationships, people, conversations. Those kinds of things will really help you be in touch with that long-term future, right? So let's pause. Go ahead. Honestly, I think that was one of the most important things when it comes to goal setting, because we learn all kinds of tactics, but a lot of them kind of fall flat and aren't really setting you up to success, right? So now that we have an idea, and hopefully you were able to create a scene in your mind of what you want. If you haven't, then that's okay. Just try it again, keep revisiting it, try not to let that go, keep doing that. But we're going to start the organization process around what that looks like. So for instance, take the example of owning a home. Owning a home seems like this really big, faraway thing, right? But if I want to own a home, then I need to have a down payment, right? And so if I look around my budget or the area that I want to buy a home in, I'm going to break it down and find out what my down payment would approximately be. And then I'm going to separate that out into like how much I need to save each month to get there, right? What I'm doing is I'm what's called reverse engineering, where I'm breaking down that long-term goals into like bite-sized pieces. Because if saving $50 a day, which seems aggressive for some people it doesn't, is kind of the end of like, or the beginning of buying a home, then it's much more motivating and exciting to start really pulling money out and putting away and setting yourself up for that later, right? So what I want you to do is take each of those pieces that you visualized and thought about in terms of your long-term goals and what your life is going to look like in 10 years. I want you to break them down into categories, and you're just going to break down action items. What do you need to get there? And then break that one down. What do you need to get there? Break it down until you have a ton of little bite-sized pieces and tasks that you can do. Then the next, pause and set that out. Maybe pick one of your pieces at a time so it's not too overwhelming. So pick one of those long-term goals, and I want you to reverse engineer it. Break it down into as many different action items as you can. Let's 3, 2, 1, pause. Good. And the last thing you're gonna do here is we're gonna start scheduling those items. So I want you to take all the items that you just organized and wrote down, and I want you to break them down into chronological order. What can you do today? What can you do this week? What can you do next week? All of a sudden, hopefully, you're going to find that there's very achievable tasks that you can do to get yourself to where you want to be, right? I recently did some of this kind of coaching with a friend, and one of the first steps that she wanted to do was enroll in a course to learn about finances. And that's something that she could do today. And so she did, right? And that was a really big step for her, even though it felt easy and small, right? To get to that long-term goal, right? So I want you to kind of break it down into chronological order and plug it into your calendar. If you're not using your calendar, I really highly recommend to use your calendar. I use one all the time as a personal trainer, kind of have to, but it keeps me accountable and on track. So you're going to break it all down, plug it into your calendar, and that way you have action items for each day and week and month and year to get you to those long-term goals, right? This is a big job. This reverse engineering and visualization is a really big job. I recognize that, but take the time. It's really important because that's what's going to get you to those long-term goals, right? Great. And after that, just like holding yourself accountable to working on those items, right? Some people use accountability buddies, so you can use your partner or your friend or your parents, whoever is an external factor. Sometimes just them checking in on you and be like, hey, did you do your action items today or this week or this month? Sometimes it's enough just to get people to be like, oh, you know what? I need to revisit this. I need to work on that. Or you did do it and you feel really great about the fact that you're working on those long-term goals and moving forward, right? I think some of the biggest problems is that people can't envision their life 10, 15, 20 years from now. They don't have long-term goals, and their life, they're just kind of living a bit of a Groundhog Day life, spinning their wheels and not moving forward, right? So you have lots of time, you have lots of energy, you'll have lots of brain power. So using it instead of just spinning your wheels and maybe getting lost in escapism or procrastination, using it to move forward is much more achievable than it seems when it comes to really large goals, right? So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please comment below. And thanks for joining. And if you're just watching this and not pausing, I want you to stop, revisit it, and actually like follow along. I think, especially on those days where you're feeling down and bad, I think some of these things just help to lift us up a little bit. All right, peace, love. See you next time.